is he on the same level as Stephen Curry? Can we say that Damian Lillard is as good, just as a player? Is Damian Lillard as good or better than Steph Curry? Let's put rings aside, legacy aside, just player to player. Is Dame either on his level or is he better than him? What y'all think on that?
I think he's not better than him completely, but I would definitely say, with all honesty, I feel like he's on his level. I feel like he's just player to player. If you compare skills, shooting, dribbling, all that, I feel like he is on his level for sure. Because he like the clutch. He even has, like, I know Steph has clutch moments in the playoffs, but let's be honest, Dame probably has more, at least iconic ones. So I'm not saying to say that means Dame is better, but I'm just saying he's definitely on his level. He has enough proof to go with that, especially with the clutch moments. He's sending a lot of our favorite players home. James Harden. For Ty Russell Westbrook, Paul George. Like, that's not a common thing for, like, people to do.
Yeah. What you thinking on that there, Blake?
Did you just say that's not a common thing for black people to do?
For people to do.
For people
to
do.
I don't know where I heard that from. But no, player wise, I think they are both on the same level. Scoring wise, you look at what Steph is capable of doing with his offensive skill set. It's literally, they're literally like right there neck and neck. Their game is really similar. It's a lot more similar than people think. Only thing I'll give Damian, he's tad bit more athletic than Steph. Yeah. But
literally building right off what you're saying. Like they're none of them are great, because sometimes it'll be like one guy's a better playmaker or whatever. One guy's a better defender. That'll be what edges them out. Like, none of them are spectacular defenders. Both of them can play make. Don't get me wrong, but none of them are spectacular playmakers either.
Yeah.
When you look
I'll give Steph the edge on playmaking.
Really?
Yeah, I'll give Steph the edge on playmaking.
Okay.
Maybe a tick, but I would say Steph, as far as playmaking, I feel like, and this is not a knock on Steph, I don't want the Warriors fans to come after me. He kind of fell off a little bit in playmaking, just a little bit for me, just a little bit.
Also, too, I feel it's a weird thing because Steph can play make, but is he asked to be that? He's sharing playmaking duties with Draymond Green a lot of times. Or when you look at the entire Warriors era. But, you know what I mean? Like, he's sharing a lot of those duties with Draymond Green. So I feel like,
good point.
You know what I mean? So also, I've never, and both these guys can do it when asked to do it, but I've never looked at any of them as like stellar enough. There's nothing when I'm looking at Steph and Dame, I don't look at anybody's playmaking ability. I'm like, okay, this guy's so much better. You know what I mean? Same with their defense. Like, none of them are really locking down. There was a moment where they tried to act like Steph was this like lockdown defender or whatever. He's just not. Neither is Dame. But as far as from an offensive standpoint, a scoring standpoint, finishing, they're pretty much on par with each other. Steph is a hell of a finisher. Dame is a hell of a finisher. And we talk about the range and the ability to shoot. There's that there. Dame with the range may be a little more rangier than Steph. If I've seen him shoot those long distance looks more and make more on an efficient basis, I probably got to give it to him.
Yeah, you can only take player to player. You can only take a player in a certain category based off what you're seeing. So that's fair. So I would definitely, as far as range, I would probably take Dame over Steph, just because I've seen Dame do it more. Not saying I don't see Steph be able to do it, because I know he could if he did it on a more not consistent basis, but if he just simply did it more. But I'm just going to take the player in terms of, in that category, if I've seen it done more by that player.
Yeah.
Speaking of seeing things done more, I feel like Dame doesn't really get that recognition, respect wise. The same kind of offensive output that Steph be giving out. Dame is doing the same thing, if not doing more. I feel like Dame doesn't really get recognized like that just because of the lack of team success he's had. Whereas we all know what Steph's about.
There's also this Steph's, and I will say this is one separating factor. Steph has outdueled him when I think about it. Like, Steph hasn't lost a playoff game to him.
Yeah.
Dame, now to kind of go back on this, because you always do have to come back to these head-to-head matchups. I do this all the time with like Kyrie and Steph. Steph's outdueled Dame more than Dame has outdueled Steph. So there's that one thing there. Like, there was a time where I remember Dame was talking like, Curry ain't, now Curry doesn't have all these superstars around him, so he's not going to be able to do as much. In that same season, Curry went and gave him 62. Granted, both these guys have given each other 50, which over 50 points, which is insane to me. You know what I mean? So it's one of the best, one of the more like underrated point guard rivalries of all time. But if we look at those head-to-heads, Dame ain't done shit against Curry in them head-to-head. So there's that. So if you want to use that as an argument, sure.
That's true.
You know what I mean? But
I also feel confident. I don't know if you all will agree with this, but I honestly don't think or don't really see Steph be able to put up these type of numbers that Dame is being able to put up. I just don't. I don't see it. Like, I don't know if necessarily Steph can put up 71 points. Maybe he could have, because we've all seen him have 60-point games and then just take him out the rest of the fourth quarter. But as far as averaging 40, 44 over the last 4 games, or even having 1,000 points damn near since January, I don't know if Steph has that in him, honestly.
I don't know. I feel like I think Steph can do. You did make a good point. I know it was a certain game against the Wizards where he had 50 something at the third after the third quarter, and they took him out. So games like that, I mean, like most of the times when he's giving out these big scoring outputs, they're taking him out after the third quarter. Steph could probably easily hit 70, maybe.
It goes. 80. It definitely goes along with a lot of players, because we've seen players have like 60. Even Klay has had 60 before, and they've taken him out the rest of the fourth. So he probably could have had 71. But I'm just saying, from this standpoint, I don't know if I could see Steph having this many scoring outbursts in terms of a whole month, or I just don't honestly see him being able to, or being able to score at this, not efficiency, that's a bad point, but just to put, basically, I'm gonna just say like this, put up this many damn points in a month or two. I don't know if Steph can do it. I'm just be honest.
I think Steph can do it. I just think Dame is a little bit more consistent.
You know what? It's a weird thing. If he's
more consistent. I know Steph can be just as efficient. He just doesn't go for that many points, but I don't know if he can, because I haven't seen it either. So it's really a tough thing.
Is what you said you said an important thing. Go for it, right? So it's like the Michael Jordan thing. People say, okay, LeBron is a hell of a passer, right? And people say LeBron is a better passer than MJ. Okay, but I'm pretty sure if we asked Michael Jordan to do some of the things that LeBron James was asked to do, those stats will look pretty similar from an assist standpoint. So same thing here when I'm talking about Steph and Dame. Dame's going to go get these for one, because he ain't really got much to fall back on right now.
He ain't got
you know what I'm saying? Now, granted, he was doing it, but Steph had a little more of the course of his career to fall back on. If he wanted to, and if he was asked to do it, I'm pretty sure he can do some of the similar things that Dame can do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If that's something he was called to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why it's tough. When I was saying my argument, I was thinking, well, I know Steph can be just as efficient if he did it, because I just know that, because I've seen hints of it, but I just haven't seen Steph in like 2 months damn near score 1,000 points. Even in his MVP season, I didn't see that being done. So it's just like, you're splitting hairs, really. You really are.
Yeah, because I think that kind of just comes down to the load that's put on you as a player, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, Dame's got a bigger load. I mean, over the course of his career, Dame's got a lot more on his shoulders than Steph does. It just is what it is. And that's no disrespect to what Steph has done over the course of his career. But Dame's got to score some of those. Like, he has to do it more than Steph did. Steph's got way more to fall back on and stuff like that. And Steph plays in a system. Like, Dame's never really played in a super reliable,
much better system than that.
Yeah, Dame is the system.
Mm-hmm.
So when you brought up Dame has had to put up these type of numbers, then able to even have a chance with his team to compete. That's why I kind of like argue with people. Okay, Steph has beaten him more times in the playoffs, but how many times has that really? Dame has had some clunkers. He's had some bad games against Steph. I'll be honest, I admit that.
Oh, yeah.
But he's also had some games where he's played pretty good and the team still loses. So how much is that? Sometimes is that on the team or on him?
Mm-hmm.
That's more so team wise, because Dame is gonna get his, but it's just the teams when they face the Warriors, the team Dame has had is just been is not up to par. It's not up to on the same level as some of those Warriors.
I would also say the record versus Steph versus Dame didn't really get that ridiculous until KD came to the Warriors. That's when the shit just
that's true. That's true.
When it just went to another, like, at least, okay, some of those games were still close or nip and tuck or whatever. When Steph, it was just Steph versus Dame or whatever. When the Warriors they were still the Warriors that had 73 games and everything like that. But the games were very close. When KD came to the Warriors, that shit was over with. Dame could put up 50 points. They were losing that game.
No, that's
so
true.
I would bring that up in argument too.
That's true. And then also so even we talk about those head to heads, right? Somebody, I'm playing. We're all kind of playing the middle part with this. I don't think anybody's really hard on one side.
Yeah, nah.
Personally, I do think they're on the same level as far as players go. But if somebody was going to pull up those playoff matchups, the defensive schemes that Golden State had for Dame are way different than whatever Portland could throw at Steph. So Dame's numbers, the Dame's numbers are going to be a little bit lower. Like, okay, when they matched up, Steph outscored them every time in the playoffs, pretty much. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's because Golden State could throw a lot more at Dame defensively than Dame or the Blazers could throw at Steph defensively. So like I said, that's why it's really tough to compare. That's why I like to keep it just player to player. True, because a lot of times it's just you're in two completely different situations. You know what I mean?
Sports in general are situational.
Yeah.
We can say this player is greater than that player, but we don't really know who's going to be better until a certain player is in that other player's situation. I know that sounds too hypothetical. It's hypothetical, but it's just the truth because we've seen players that just aren't as great. We've seen players that just aren't as great as other players. They put up 50 points, they lose. The other person puts up 35, but they win. So it's just like, especially since Golden State, they have two of the top 5 best shooters of all time. Portland doesn't have that. So so it's easier for Golden State to kind of just defend that person rather than Portland. They have to worry about two of the most deadliest shooters in league history.
Yeah.
So their defense is going to look a lot different. It's going to look a whole lot different.
Yep. Steph's going to get different looks that Dame's just not going to be able to get. And that's really what it came down to. Like when I'm watching those series.
Same thing I said.
Yeah. Dame's just like not getting the looks at all that Steph is able to get. You know what I mean? Like I said, taking nothing away from Steph at all. But it just is what it is in regards to that. I think, like I said, as far as players go, those guys are neck and neck with each other. And that's why I always try to keep arguments to just straight skill. Who is just better? If I'm picking a guy up and pick up, like if I'm just on the street, we blacktopping. Who am I picking up between these two? It's not going to be, I'm definitely taking Steph over Dame. It can't be that because, like I said, none of them have individually, as far as just players go, done more than the other for me to be like, this guy's straight up a better player than Steph, or this guy's a straight up better player than Dame. I think they're on the same level. You feel what I'm saying?
No, you're definitely right because when I try to compare certain things, I'm just like, I don't know, because I feel like Steph could do that too. So it really is. You can't really look at the teams like this. Sometimes you do have to look at player versus player as far as skill.
Even all time, I do that all. Like I don't like having all time legacy arguments because it's like these guys have just had completely different careers and played in different times. So let's just go who's just a better player. So I don't like the rings can mean one thing. Who was a better player, Kobe, Michael, LeBron? Like, let's keep out the rings. Kobe and Mike played in the system. LeBron never played in the system. Who were just better players? You feel what I'm saying? Like, let's just keep it at that. That's why I don't get into all the ring stuff because that's why I literally, when I make my top 5, y'all know I don't care about legacy. I just go, who's a better baller? And in my opinion, I'm gonna just say this, passively and just move on from it. Kobe's the best baller ever. But it's just about skill and game to me. You feel what I'm saying? It can't always be about.
You definitely are right about that because I would bring up another topic with me. Like for me, it's Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan. Obviously, Tim Duncan's the more accomplished player, but I've looked at player to player because I've seen enough of them in my prime to say I think Kevin Garnett is a better player than him.
Yeah,
he just wasn't on a better team. He just wasn't in the best situation with the Timberwolves. He got to a better situation with the Celtics, but you get my point.
Yeah.